No one knew Ethan Caldwell was back. Not his staff. Not his business partners. Not even the security teams stationed at the far gate of the estate. The black SUV rolled silently up the long, curved driveway of the Caldwell home in Westchester County, New York. A 12-bedroom mansion surrounded by manicured hedges, towering oaks, and a kind of wealth so quiet it didn't need to announce itself. Ethan stepped out alone. No assistance. No phone calls. No warnings. The front door opened with the same soft click it always had. And just like that, he was back inside the house he had spent 18 months running from. The air felt stale, heavy, like grief had settled into the walls and never left. The house was silent. It had always been silent. 18 months of silence. No laughter echoing down the hallways. No small feet racing across marble floors. No voices. Just emptiness. Ethan loosened his tie and set his briefcase down near the door. His movements were slow, careful, like he was afraid of disturbing something fragile. Or maybe afraid of feeling something at all. This house used to be loud. Before the accident. Before everything ended. He took a step forward. Then another. And that's when he heard it. A sound. Faint at first. So soft he almost convinced himself it wasn't real. Ethan froze. His heart slammed hard against his ribs. The sound came again. A giggle. A child's giggle. His breath caught in his throat. That wasn't possible. The house had been silent for a year and a half. His daughters hadn't made a sound in 18 months. Ethan's pulse thundered in his ears. He stood perfectly still, afraid that if he moved, the sound would disappear. Then it came again. Laughter. Real laughter. Not imagined. Not memory. Not grief playing tricks on his mind. His hands started shaking. Slowly, he followed the sound. Down the main hallway. Past framed photographs he could barely look at anymore. Family vacations, birthdays, a woman with warm brown eyes, and a smile that used to anchor his world. His wife. Gone. The laughter grew louder. It was coming from the kitchen. Ethan stopped in front of the door. His chest felt tight, like it might cave in. This couldn't be happening. He reached for the handle. His hand trembled. Then he pushed the door open. And what he saw inside stopped his entire world. Who Ethan Caldwell used to be. Ethan Caldwell was a billionaire. Self-made. Manhattan real estate. He had taken abandoned buildings, forgotten neighborhoods, and turned them into luxury towers worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Everything he touched turned into profit. People said he had the instinct. The kind you couldn't teach. The kind that made men rich and left everyone else chasing. But money couldn't bring back what he lost. His wife, Lena Caldwell, died instantly in a car accident. Upper East Side. A drunk driver ran a red light. Ethan was in Tokyo, closing a massive deal when his phone rang. He remembered the exact moment. The time. The hotel room. The way his knees gave out when he heard the words, "I'm so sorry." By the time he flew back, Lena was already gone. At the funeral, something inside his daughters shattered. Ava, Noah, Lily, 4 years old. Identical triplets. Same dark curls. Same hazel eyes. Same crooked smiles they used to flash when they were proud of themselves. Before the accident, Ava loved telling stories. Noah asked questions about everything. Lily sang made-up songs in the bathtub. After the funeral, Nothing. They stopped talking. All three of them. At the same time. Doctors called it trauma-induced selective mutism. Ethan called it hell. 18 months passed. No words. No laughter. No crying out loud. Just three little girls holding each other's hands, staring at nothing. Like ghosts. The THINGS money fix. Ethan spent millions trying to bring them back. The best child psychologists in New York. Specialists flown in from London. Private therapists. Experimental treatments. He took them to Disneyland. To the beach. To Montana. He bought puppies. Built a treehouse. Nothing worked. The girls remained locked inside themselves. Silent together. As if they had made a pact with grief. And Ethan did what broken men often do. He ran 16-hour workdays. Flights every week. London, Singapore, Dubai, anywhere but home. Because sitting in that house felt like suffocating. His estate had 12 bedrooms, an infinity pool, a tennis court, and a private theater. But it was the loneliest place on earth. One evening, Grace Whitman, the head housekeeper who had worked for the family for over 20 years, finally confronted him. "Mr. Caldwell," she said gently, "I can't do this alone anymore." Ethan barely looked up from his phone. "The house is too big, and the girls, they need more help than I can give." He sighed. "Hire whoever you need," he muttered. That was it. 3 days later, Maya Reed walked through the front door. Maya Reed was 30 years old. From Harlem. She studied early childhood education at night while raising her teenage nephew after her sister passed away 2 years earlier. She knew grief. She understood silence. She didn't announce herself. Didn't ask questions. Didn't try to fix anything. She just showed up. Every day. Folding laundry. Cleaning rooms. Humming old gospel hymns while she worked. Ethan saw her once in the hallway. She nodded politely. He didn't even slow down. But his daughters noticed. Maya never forced them to talk. Never asked them to smile. She treated their silence like it mattered. Like it was saying something. Week 1. Ava stood in the doorway while Maya made the beds. Week 2. Noah sat on the floor listening while Maya hummed. Week 3. Lily left a crayon drawing on a folded towel. A yellow butterfly. Maya taped it to the wall like it was priceless. "This is beautiful," she whispered. Something shifted. Slowly. Quietly. Sacred. Something Ethan never saw. Because he was never home. The miracle he didn't know about. 6 weeks passed. The girls started whispering to Maya. Then speaking. Then laughing. By the 6th week, they were singing again. Maya never told anyone. She didn't need credit. She just loved them. Like you water a garden and trust growth to come. Ethan was in Singapore. Exhausted. Burned out. He wasn't supposed to come home for another 3 days. But something inside him said go. He didn't call ahead. He just left. And now, he stood in the doorway of the kitchen, watching something he thought he would never see again. The moment that changed everything. Sunlight poured through the kitchen windows. Warm. Alive. Lily sat on Maya's shoulders, giggling uncontrollably. Ava and Noah sat barefoot on the counter by the sink, legs swinging, singing softly. You are my sunshine. Maya folded small dresses, humming along. The girls wore matching magenta outfits, their hair brushed, their faces glowing. They were alive. Ethan's briefcase slipped from his hand and hit the floor behind him. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. For 3 seconds, relief crushed him. Joy, gratitude, hope. Then something else rose. Vast, hot, ugly, jealousy, shame, rage. This woman had done what he couldn't, and he hated her for it. What the hell is going on here? His voice shattered the room. The singing stopped. Instantly, silence rushed back in. Maya froze. Lily's face crumpled. Ava and Noah stopped mid-swing. Maya slowly lifted Lily down. Her hands were shaking. Mr. Caldwell, This is inappropriate, Ethan snapped. You were hired to clean, not to turn my kitchen into a daycare circus. Maya lowered her eyes. I was just. You're fired. The word fell like a guillotine. The girls didn't cry. They didn't speak. They climbed down, held hands, and walked out. The house fell silent again. Ethan stood alone. The sunlight felt harsh now. Accusing. What did I just do? He whispered. And for the first time in 18 months, the silence felt worse than ever. The house went quiet again. Not the peaceful kind. Not the healing kind. The cruel kind. The kind that presses against your chest until breathing feels like work. Ethan Caldwell stood alone in the kitchen long after the girls disappeared down the hallway. The sunlight that had once felt warm now burned his skin. Every corner of the room accused him. A half-folded dress lay on the counter. 3 small cups of juice still sweating in the heat. A crayon drawing taped to the wall. A yellow butterfly. Ethan stared at it. Something about it twisted deep inside him. He reached out slowly and peeled it off the wall. His fingers trembled. Why did this feel like a crime? Grace Whitman entered quietly from the side door. She had heard everything, every word. She didn't speak at first. She just looked at Ethan. Disappointed. Not angry. That hurt more. Where is she? Ethan finally asked, his voice rough. Packing, Grace said. You told her to leave. Ethan swallowed hard. She crossed a line. Grace's lips pressed together. With respect, sir, she said carefully, she crossed the line you abandoned. Ethan flinched. Grace had never spoken to him like that. She brought your daughters back, Grace continued, and you threw her out like trash. Ethan clenched his jaw. They were laughing with her, he snapped, not with me. Grace's eyes softened. That wasn't her fault. Ethan turned away. But the truth followed him like a shadow. The night everything fell apart. That night the girls didn't come down for dinner. Ethan sat at the long dining table alone. 3 empty chairs. 3 untouched plates. He waited. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Finally, he pushed his chair back and went upstairs. Their bedroom door was open. The lights were off. Ava, Noah, and Lily lay in bed together, facing the wall. Their bodies were stiff, guarded, like soldiers bracing for impact. Ethan stood in the doorway. I didn't mean to yell, he said quietly. No response. I didn't understand what was happening. Still nothing. I'm trying, he whispered. I really am. His voice cracked. The girls didn't move. Ethan waited for words. For tears. For anything. But silence answered him. Again. He backed out slowly. Closed the door. And for the first time since Lena's death, Ethan broke. He slid down the hallway wall and buried his face in his hands. The housekeeper passed later and found him there. She didn't say a word. She just placed a blanket over his shoulders. Maya Reed's walk home. Maya walked out of the Caldwell estate with a single suitcase. Her steps were steady, her face calm, but inside her heart was shattered. She had known this could happen. Rich men didn't like being reminded of their failures. Still, the pain surprised her. Not for herself, for the girls. She replayed Lily's face over and over. The way it fell, the way her tiny hands let go. Maya stopped at the bus stop, sat down, and finally allowed herself to cry. She had lost children once before. Her nephew's little sister. An illness. She had learned then. Love didn't disappear when someone walked away. It stayed. It waited. She wiped her face and stood up when the bus arrived. She didn't look back. The day the girls stopped. The next morning, Grace noticed something immediately. Breakfast trays returned untouched. Lunch the same. Dinner again. The girls sat at the table, staring at their plates. Silent. Motionless. Grace tried everything. Pancakes shaped like animals. Fruit cut into stars. Nothing. Ethan watched from the doorway, helpless. They won't eat, Grace whispered. His chest tightened. They ate fine yesterday, he said. Grace met his eyes. Yesterday, Maya was here. That name landed hard. Ethan turned away. That night, Noah vomited from weakness. The doctor came. Then another. Psychological withdrawal, one said. A regression. Regression. The word echoed like a verdict. Ethan sat beside the bed, holding 3 tiny hands. I'll fix this, he whispered. But he didn't know how. Grace hesitated before knocking on Ethan's office door. She held a thin envelope. I found this, she said, in the laundry room. Ethan frowned. What is it? Maya left it, Grace said softly. I think it's for the girls. Ethan's heart thudded. He took the envelope. It wasn't sealed. His name wasn't on it. He shouldn't read it. He did anyway. My brave girls. If you're reading this, it means I couldn't say goodbye properly, and I'm sorry for that. I want you to remember something very important. Your voices never left you, they were just resting. Your mama's love is still wrapped around you every time you laugh, every time you sing. You didn't lose her. She lives in you. And so do I. Always. Love. Miss Maya. Ethan couldn't breathe. Tears blurred the page. This woman hadn't stolen his daughters. She had saved them. And he had destroyed it. The surge. Ethan didn't sleep. At dawn, he made calls. Find her, he told his assistant, now. Within hours, they had an address. A small apartment in Harlem. Ethan didn't send anyone. He went himself. No suit. No driver. Just a man with guilt weighing him down. He stood outside the building for a long moment before knocking. The door opened slowly. Maya stared at him. Her eyes widened, then hardened. I think you've said enough to me, she said. I made a mistake, Ethan replied. Silence. A terrible one. She didn't move. My daughters are fadding, he continued, and it's my fault. Maya studied him. Finally, she stepped aside. Come in. The conversation that cut deep. They sat across from each other at a small table. No power, no wealth, just truth. You didn't trust me, Maya said calmly. I didn't trust myself, Ethan admitted. He told her everything. The accident, the guilt, the running. I couldn't stand seeing them love someone else, he whispered, because it reminded me how badly I failed them. Maya listened. Then she said something that changed him. Children don't replace love, she said, they multiply it. Ethan bowed his head. I want you back, he said, please. Maya shook her head. I don't work where love is punished. Desperation clawed at him. What if I need you? She met his eyes. Then learn how to need your daughters first. The moment that broke the spell. Ethan returned home empty-handed. That night, he did something he hadn't done since Lena died. He slept in the girls' room. On the floor. They watched him silently. He didn't speak. Didn't ask. He just stayed. Morning came. Then afternoon. Then night again. He read stories aloud, even though no one answered. On the third night, Lily reached out. Her fingers brushed his sleeve. Ethan froze. She whispered, Miss Maya sings it better. The words shattered him. He sobbed openly. Ava whispered next. Can she come back? Noah nodded. Ethan swallowed his pride. Yes, he said, if she wants to. The return. Ethan went back to Harlem. This time he didn't beg. He listened. I don't need money, Maya said. I need respect. You have it, Ethan said. And their father, she added, not just their provider. Ethan nodded. I'm ready. She studied him. Long. Hard. Then. I'll come, she said, for them. The final healing. The house changed. Slowly. Real dinners. Movie nights. Messy kitchens. Ethan learned to sit on the floor. To listen. To laugh again. The girls blossomed. Their voices filled the halls. One evening, months later, they stood on the staircase. Daddy, Ava said. We want to sing, Noah added. For Mama. They sang. Softly. Beautifully. Ethan cried. Maya stood beside him. Not replacing. Not competing. Just standing. Epilogue. A year later, Ethan funded a foundation for children with trauma-induced mutism. He named it the Butterfly Project. The logo. A yellow butterfly. Maya became its director. The girls spoke at the opening ceremony. Their voices strong. Clear. Alive. Ethan watched them. Whole. And finally understood. Love doesn't come back the way you lost it. It comes back stronger.